Hi, it's Dennis. Today I'd like to talk about a shift between the office and field that I've seen happening maybe over the course of the last couple of years. And what it seems like is happening is that contractors are starting to use their project management team, project managers, maybe engineers, to try to drive their projects at the field level. And because of that, what I'm seeing is the superintendent and foreman positions seem to be getting watered down. They're having less and less authority and responsibility on the job site. And it kind of seems like that position now is the foremen that I encounter are more like lead men, and the superintendents are more like foremen. And both of them seem to be used just to kind of answer questions on the site. But the project manager is the one who's really driving the project. And I just think that's a mistake. I think that there's a lot of really, really good talent out in the field. I know, when I was a young foreman, I had a lot of responsibility and played a large role in the success of my projects, from managing the crew, possibly even hiring the crew, managing the schedule, participating in meetings with the general contractor, making sure material deliveries and equipment and tools were delivered on time to the job site. And it's like those responsibilities are being taken away from these field managers. Now, while I do agree and I understand what they're trying to do, I think they're trying to drive the organization that they're creating in the office down to the field level, and I'm all for doing that. But I just feel like these managers out in the field are the ones who install that material every day and deal with the codes. And I think that they know the best choices for material as far as, profitably installing them. And I see a lot of engineers now making the material list, engineers and project managers dictating the materials that are going to be used on the project. And I think it's a great idea to put together a material list, but I think it should be flavored by the people who are actually going to be installing it, because I believe that they know the best and most profitable methods for getting that material in place. And, while that engineer probably is a very competent person, if they're not installing that material every day, just because they see a material in a book or a magazine or online, there's a big difference between a good sales pitch and an actual installation. And I know, it's been a lot of years since I've done a residential project, but if I was asked to do one today, I'd be a failure, because the material has changed so much since the last time I did any residential projects, and the codes have changed, and I'd just be lost. And I think it's a shame to waste that talent of these people out in the field who've been doing this for year after year after year, and developed all of this experience in how to, get that material in place, the best material to use, and how to get it in place in a timely fashion. I think there's a better way to drive that organization from the field, or from the office down to the field level, and the way I think it needs to be done is through training, training of superintendents and training of foremen. I think they need to understand the estimating process, how estimates are created and all the components, labor units and average labor rates. I think they need to understand scheduling and the basic terminology and how a schedule's put together and how it's managed. You know, manpower, how to best manage manpower. You know, years ago, I worked on a project where we were pulling wire from one building to the next, and it was a large size wire. I don't remember how big it was, but in an underground conduit, and we pulled the rope in first to pull the wire with, and the rope was too short. And so one of my guys brought me a chunk of rope he found somewhere, and I actually braided that piece onto the longer piece and made it long enough to pull the wire with. And so we pulled it back into the conduit and tied the wire on, and you know, I was really nervous because I was afraid that that braid that I made would pull apart inside the conduit once we got the wire in there a little ways, and then I was going to have to pull the wire back out and figure something else out and reconnect it. But what I found out is once that wire pull was complete, I found out that that spot where I braided that rope together was the strongest part of that entire rope. And you know, that's the kind of connection you need between your field and your office. And I think it takes a little bit of training to get the field side on the same page as the project management team so that they both understand, you know, the goals and the approach and how they're going to manage the project together in order to make it profitable. So, you know, I think there's a way to drive that organization down to the field level. I'm a big advocate of that. I think training on the field side plays a large role in that. And once they're trained, then they need to be held accountable. They need to be accountable to the project goals and the methods that, you know, the team decides to employ to make that project come together profitably. So just my 2 cents, what I think, what I see happening in the industry right now, I think it's a mistake. I think you need to train those field people and make them stronger instead of taking away their responsibilities and making them weaker. Thank you.